Right, so I have updated the healer build for the Summerset update. Not really much has changed in terms of skills and stuff. I can't remember pretty much what I did last time. I've decided to do it on the PTS just to save on getting some of the skill lines that I probably did want to show. But start with CP this time. I use Vana's CP, what's used in Alcast build. So 23 into the thaumaturge, nothing, and then really before your last jump points on Blessed and Elfborn, so the extra 25 points only get you 1%, so you leave it at that. And I'm pretty sure the last 27 points of that only get you 2%, if I remember rightly. Elemental Expert, just add a bit more DPS for the team, and Erosion for the same thing. I put 40 into these two just to get the Treasure Hunter perk. You don't really need it, otherwise you could probably go 37 in each and put a few more points into Warlord. But 40-40, that's where I keep it. 75 into Tenacity and Arcanist when it wants to go there, just for the Magicka recovery and the heavy attacks. Also, when you do the heavy attacks with a Retro Staff, you get 30% more as well. Warlord, just 20 into there just for the break free. A lot of trials do a lot of CC you need to break free from. The red is dependent on your trial, but for an all round, roughly, I keep the same as what Alcast uses on most of his builds. And 81 into Ironclad, and 23 into the Spell Shield. That's that. Skills, there's loads you can use here. With the Summerset update, a lot of skills have changed. Just realised I need to go grab the Atronach Stone, which, to be fair, in this patch you might not even need it until you see the kind of recovery. And this is Argonian. It's just because in the main game I use an Argonian healer instead of a Altmer healer. I just prefer the Argonian just because of the health bonus as well. You don't have to offset so much, and you've got a lot more survivability than a high elf. So unbuffed, Magicka recovery is pretty silly, to be fair. You know, you don't really need this, and obviously when combined with some of the newer skills, the Sigic Order, there's one in right now with the Mend Wounds, and you can practically infinitely channel it if you're sat in the Focus Rune, which gives you your channel focus. It gives you 120 Magicka every 0.5 seconds, so that's a 240 Magicka recovery there before all the scaling. Back down to the Sigic. So yeah, so basically light attacks heal for a good chunk over 10 seconds, so that's a 1.6k heal over 10 seconds just with your light attacks, and your heavy attacks deal 6.6k healing, it says, but I've had it higher. Last time I tested this in the PTS, I had it up to about 16k per crit ticking. And you heal yourself with this one. I didn't know which morph to use. I'm thinking to myself, this morph's probably better for the 4-mans where you're always all under a bit of damage, and trials to use the other morph, which gives the person you're channeling against, it gives them major resolve and major ward, increasing resistances. So I was just testing this one just to see what the healing would be like on myself. Obviously due to the Argonian's passives for receiving and doing more healing. So that's that one. So on the front bar, Breath of Life, for me, is dead, it's gone. I know this costs more than the Breath of Life, but this also heals for more than the Breath of Life. The Breath of Life only heals you or another person and then an off person, and it heals for 9619 on this. That heals for slightly more. The only problem is this is only a 2-person cap. This is a 6-person cap, and I'm pretty sure I've seen the 7th person hit a heal, unless it's only healed 5 in the cap, and then the outside person for the extra heal. But even the outside heal is a lot more than the off heal of Breath of Life. You know, nearly 5k compared to just over 3k. So that's why I use Rebirth. Now Rebirth is the god of all oh shit button now. It's like Breath of Life used to just be if one person were getting hammered. If you're in a stack fight and everybody's getting hammered, you've got your Ritual Rebirth and other things like your springs, which I'll come onto that as well because I've changed that I think from the last one. I've changed to Illustrious just for the fact of all the recovery. You don't need any more recovery. It would a toss up between Damper Magic and Harness Magicka as well, because obviously you get a much bigger shield, but you don't really need it with all the healing that's coming out. So that's just good for a little bit of sustain. Keep going through the skills actually. So this is my front bar. This is on the rest row. So I use the Rebirth, obviously for the 6-player cap and how much healing it actually gives. I've had crits of plus 30 up to nearly 40k. Illustrious healing, I've had 8k to 9k ticks of that fully buffed. And his magic is only like, I think it's 11 or a 12k shield when you're fully buffed. Combat Prayer just to keep up that minor berserk. Also minor resolve, minor ward for your tanks, because they're obviously buffing themselves with the mages of them. Radiant Aura, this can probably get changed into something else now, maybe something like skills I would never use really, like Inner Light, increase your max magicka and your crit, get a bit more healing out. Maybe Spell Symmetry, if you do end up on bosses that do drains on your magicka, you can use that to get it back at the cost of healing. Obviously it reduces your healing, reduces your shields, and it gives you major ward and resolve, I do believe. Or is that the other morph? Yeah, that's the other morph. This just reduces the cost of your magicka abilities of Spell Symmetry. It's the other one which is Balance, I think it is. Time Freeze, only using these for CC. I was just going to use them as a test. Just to help out if your tanks chaining enemies in talons. Use the Time Freeze just to add the duration onto the talons, giving chance to taunt everything. It's not really a set in stone skill, it was just something for a theory, just to test it out. Symbiosis, like I've explained, it just seems really overpowered when it comes to terms of if you've got 2 healers in the team, you're doing enough healing, everybody's at full health, maybe just preparing for one of those one-shots off the boss while your tank's getting ready, just to heal them up straight away. I don't know, it's probably not going to be a use skill at all, is this? It was just something just to test. Orbs or shards, either or to give resources back. And also I think in the guides it tells you to use the blazing spears for the damage, but you're a healer, you don't need it. So luminous shards, because it gives the major resource back and the minor resource back. So for tanks it's really good. They get the stamina back for the blocking, and they get the magicka back for the support skills. Purifying Light, just got that there, just for the I think it's for the breach. I don't even think it applies breach anymore, does it? Oh, no, maybe not. Just for the heal really, and the damage that the magicka damage dealers will do with it. Breath of Life's gone. Extended Ritual, Channel Focus, those two. That's your heal. Put it down, heal over time, everybody sat inside, everybody can use a Purify synergy, including the tank. If the tank's using Alcast, it's an extra synergy for them. Elemental Drain, no brainer. Applies Breach and Magicka Steel to everything that you apply it to. Free cost. Blockade of Storms. That's the reason I use the Lightning Staff, Charged Lightning Staff. And that's just reminded me I haven't put a Shock enchant in that. Weapon enchantment. Go for Shock. So yeah, the way I've got it as well, I'll come on to the gear afterwards. Finish off on the skills. So Radiant Aura is for the regen. It gives you, it's 10% on everything. It stacks with pots, as pots give you major. So that's 30% recovery just from using a pot and having that skill slotted. Having a support skill slotted in the passives of support. Increased magical recovery by 10% as well. Not just that, it's really good for keeping people alive if everyone's getting absolutely battered. And switch bars. So between the spears and the orbs, depends. Spears are instant for resources. Orbs are a great heal for the team. You can get up to 2 plus K crits when you're fully buffed with those. I explain those two skills, and then obviously the aggressive horn for the uptime of Major Force, which increases crit damage by 15%, which stacks on top of the minor from the Trap Beast or some sets that you can get. So that's 25% damage basically for 13.3 seconds. Reason it's that is I've got the Jorvald set on, which I'll come to the sets in a minute actually. In Vana and Alcast's build, they suggest to use a 5-1-1 build for the resources, but I don't believe that the resources are worth the extra 8% in recovery that you'd lose. You'd lose the 8% recovery, you'd lose the 4% reduction. The 4% reduction alone is like having Worm Cult on you over the difference of having a medium or a heavy, for the case of a 3% extra resources. I find myself never running out anyway, unless you're really silly or someone's really silly and you have to spam heal. They're just usual. This is why I don't really use the medium or the heavies. It's like the health would be a nice bonus to get the extra health from the heavy, but when you're an Argonian anyway, you're sat at 17.8k, and that's including the 3 tri-stats that you would use. Let me go through the monster sets actually. There's quite a lot you can use. Everything on the larger scale of your armour must be tri-statted, just for the extra health that it gives you. So infused with tri-stat, infused. Bogdan's is probably one of the stronger sets. Some trials I've had over 300k or up to 300k heal per second when everyone's been sat inside all the healing. The reason I don't use Vana's exact build, the reason I only run 3-piece Oloreem, so the legs, the feet, the chest, I keep the chest and the legs the same because when you're switching out sets you don't want to be buying tri-stats all the time, they're a bit expensive. So that's why I keep these 2 sets to infuse with a tri-stat. And the front bar, I can get between 95 and 100% uptime of Oloreem's buff. Obviously when I switch bars and it all comes on. So the reason I use the perfected is just to show you what the min-max is going to be really. I'm not going to bother with the jewellery, golding the jewellery out I don't think. But the Oloreem is fully golded and that's really all that I would test in, to be fair. So on the front bar it drops it down. When you're using Jorvalds as well, it's a 42 second from a 30 second buff. Increases spell and weapon damage by 258, and it can occur every 10 seconds. So as you can see, the buff's up for 42 seconds, so even before anyone is even close to finishing it off, you drop another one that can go back and refresh it for the 42 seconds again. VMA staff just to help out with just a bit of DPS. You can get up to 10k DPS single target when you're attempting to do damage as the healer. No, it's just that extra bit of damage that brings all your team DPS up. Reason Charge and Shock is still fully off balance. People who have got 75 points into the Thaumaturge, they will hit an extra 10% damage on their off balance enemies by 10%. And also the Concuss status, if you heavy attack it gives double resources back now, so it helps for sustain and for damage, to be fair. Right, so Jorvalds, the reason Jorvalds is just because it increases all your buffs. Like usually I think Combat Prayer is an 8 second, it goes up to 11 seconds. The Warhorn goes from where are we gone? It goes to 13.3 instead of, I think it's, is it 8? 9? Might be 9 or 10 seconds, I think. Yeah, it might be 9 seconds. And also increases the Warhorn's duration. No, it doesn't actually. Still 30 seconds. It's just the major force. But adding the minor toughness should last longer. I don't know if it's just a tooltip that's wrong. Well, we could always find out. Tedious. As you can see, once you're sat in that, your magic recovery really is a joke. This is without the buff of Radiant Aura, without a pot active. Without another there. And the only thing with the Jorvalds is you do sacrifice quite a bit of magicka. If it wasn't for the perfect vestments of Olorim, it would be under 30k, you'd be like 29 point something, but obviously the recovery that you do get is a bit silly. That's without the vampire as well. So let's pop the horn. Yeah, there you go. So 42 minor toughness, 30 seconds of the horn, 13 seconds of force. So that it does apply, right? It's just a tooltip that's wrong. Right. So as for gear, like I said, the Jorvalds, just for the horn alone and for the combat prayer, just to give you a chance to do other things different. Mending is one of my favourites. Love mending. See, things change a bit different with your magicka and your recovery, no doubt. So there you go. So your recovery is a lot lower, 3k unbuffed, which is still very, very high considering if you're in that, that's an extra 240. It doesn't add to sheet. You're probably talking about another 300 there. So if we consider 3300 as your recovery, your illustrious healing's only 2879. Combat prayers 3100. So if you literally use the skill every second, you'd never run out of magicka. There's nothing really that's too much over it. Like the extended ritual lasts for 24 seconds, so the recovery that's nearly gone in a second, and it lasts for 24. The reason I like mending is just for the when you're in battle, you drop it on them, you debuff the enemy. The enemy does a lot less damage. I do find myself using a lot just because I've got decent heals anyway. I find using the worm on top of all your recovery, it just adds a bit more to your sustain. It does contain a bit more recovery, but it's still the same as mending. You get a bit more magicka on top of the mending. It improves your heals quite a bit. Same for the jewelry enchants. The reason I don't use the reduction cost is because it's Argonian, and Ultimate already have 10% recovery as a passive, so that's why I get the extra recovery in there using Worm over the Sanctuary. It gives you probably the offset that it would be, so you're probably on a similar level for recoveries. If I can make the pots. Now, which one is it? Is this one it? Spell crit, restore health, definitely not that one. Cornflower. There we go. Cornflower, Smock and Hyacinth, so it gives you sorcery, prophecy, instant magicka and intellect, so you recovery, spell crit, spell damage and magicka straight away. Right, so let's see what we are on a fully buff here. So if we drop a pop, that's the thing as well, which mothers drink, just because of how much health you've got, you can knock it down. I think you end up about 20k health if you use buy stat food. This was for the recovery as well, it helps a lot with sustain. You could use buy stat food, you get a lot more max resources, but I find the sustain is a lot better like that. So if I pop the pots for the recoveries and everything, I go in a bottle, I buff up with that. Now look at my character sheet, so it's 3400 recovery, 2271 spell damage. That's pretty much the god healing shit. Now if I were to become a vampire as well, which I'm on the fence of recommending, because depends on your trial, depends on how you play, depends on everything really. So if go to the skill, vampire, just a supernatural recovery, on death, and unnatural resistances that you need. So for me to get the recovery, should have really pre-planned all this before. Didn't buy the skill. Misform. Drain Essence, I think is the easier one. Right, we'll just try this. Just a spam. It's like half an hour each time I think, or 20 minutes each time. The fact you get 3k from just spamming it, DPS is a bit crazy. I do believe that's rank 2. Oh, stage 3, there we go. Right, so now if pop. There you go, 3.5k recovery. Nearly 3600 recovery. You can just spam. Just absolutely spam the life out of that shit. One heavy attack. Before you even got a heavy attack off, you probably restored all the magic gone. Like, it's so hard to run out of magicka. And if you see in the combat log as well, you see how much it's healing for. 2700 non-crit, nearly 5k crits. I'm just trying to get low enough just to see how much resources I can actually bring back from. To be fair, I'm probably going to get my pot back by the time I've run out of magicka. That's crazy. Yeah, I've got my pot back before I even run out of magicka. So, but the heavy attack. So, try and spam a heavier attack. Right. That's a 26k crit with the standard buffs. That's not including all the other buffs that are coming out. It's like just thinking of using it in a real world situation. As you can see, it's not going anywhere as your magicka. Yeah. That's what it's about. It's about the spam. It's not about the spell damage, how much healing you can do. It's the sustained healing. It's just that sustain over time. But right, that's where I come on to monster sets, because this is my preferred worm. You could switch up to Sank, give everyone that 12% extra healing. So let's go for the buff now. Right. So as you can see now, the springs 6.1k heal, non-crit 3k. You take a bit of a dent to your recovery. It gives you a bit more health. Pretty sure you keep the same magicka. Yep, the same magicka. But you're still at 3300 recovery. More than you'll ever need. So the monster sets, I'll try and explain what I know of them anyway, what I've tried or what I can think of. Bogdan's is the strongest heal over time that I've seen. Earthgore's too much of a wait. It's like 35 seconds. It is a strong heal. It's 40k over 6 seconds. Really strong, but it's just, if you've got 2 people running it, it does work out not worth it. If you've got 1 running Bogdan, 1 running Earthgore, it should be alright. It is a really strong heal. Soaks up all the negative effects on the floor as well. Blood spawns. This was mainly just for the ultimate. While you're getting hit, I'll try and go test it out, to be fair. Like I say, everything light, just for that recovery. Light helmet, light shoulder. Doesn't necessarily have to be infused on the big pieces. It only adds minor. It's just for min-maxing, to be fair. It's not a great big deal. Got Vardenfell, there's some trolls straight away there. But yeah, the Sanctuary also gives a health piece on there as well, so it puts you at nearly 20k with recovery food. If you was to use the citrus fillet, I think, you do get more max stats off them. But in the PTS, I'm not sure where you get the recipe from. I'm not sure if I have it. Let's find a troll. Right, so I am wearing the blood spawns. I'll take the costume off. It's just everything looks really ugly. Right, so trolls. Right. I don't think I've seen the blood spawn proc yet. regenerate that off. Go on. Come on, Bloodspawn. I know it'll work. Yeah, multiplying. Right. Come on, bang me about, let's go. Right, so Bloodspawn's active. Get some pretty dirty resistances from that. Not just that, it's the ultimate gain as well. Warhorn's 63% now. If this was in a trial situation, it'd be a lot better because of the amount of damage that you're actually under. So Bloodspawns would probably be ideal for that kind of shit. Bogdan's, sure, this one it doesn't really show it in anything else. Grab you. Grab you. Yeah. So when you heal, you're taking damage. It's only a 5% chance, but when you're in a group, it procs more often than it should, and it's pretty disgusting how much it does proc, to be fair. I just wish these would do a bit more damage to a drop. Maybe not. Right. There's another troll around here somewhere. There he is. There we go. And then that Bogdan, it's just healing for a lot of damage. If it drops again, I'll drop a pot, and then I'll bring up combat metrics and find out what it's doing. Come on, hit me. Come on. Come on, Bogdan. Well, not really much to show that. It's probably not going to have a mega buff. Alright. So, let me set the control up for it. Combat metrics. So... and the Bogdan heals for more than an illustrious healing. It lasts for 6 seconds. It's crazy how much the Bogdan does heal for fully buffed. That's on that set. Earthgore is only when you reach low health, like I said, but I will show, just see if I can find anything big enough to smash me up. Got any world bosses nearby? Got a delve. we'll be cutting this video a bit short soon. It'll just to go through the rest of the sets. But just because of these sets, it's not necessarily going to be better, it's just extra function. From staves adding 2 set bonuses, it's just extra function for a monster set. It's like you will still find you'll get same recovery, same spell damage and everything as you would normally. Let's just let myself get to 50%. As soon as it drops, it's when Earthgore hits. After the fight, I'll check what that hits for. By no means it wasn't fully buffed, no major sorcery, no anything. Right, so nearly 8k a tick. So it's like 48k in total, just short of. The only problem is the really long cooldown of it. Not sure if you switch it off and switch it back on, I'm not sure if that resets it. I should imagine it wouldn't. It'd be a bit disgusting if it didn't, or if it did. Buff up just in case. Okay, maybe it does, maybe I was just outside of the range, I don't know. Right, so yeah, so there you go. Up to 8.5k. See, the sets can't proc, but that turns out I'll do an exact number times the 6 seconds it's up. So that's a 50 point, just short of 50.6k heal. So it would be strong in trials. It's like the person who would run, well, it wouldn't really matter, but the person who would run Sank, I would probably recommend to run the Earthgore set. Lord Wardens, just for when you are getting damaged. That orb, as soon as you're sat inside this as well, you know your resistance is 27k. If you had the tank using that, you using Bloodspawn, you would be over hard cap of resistances as a healer. Right, and then the final one, Recagarms. I would probably find use of this for helping tanks, because the heal sprouts out a little spider. When you sat in that, it heals double of what the Master Staff regenerates in Magicka, and it regenerates through your block, as you can see. So if I sprint, let's see if I can sprint a lot. Drop my heal. Keep blocking. Hopefully the heal will come out. It's the only thing with proc sets, it's just the chance of it to come out. That's why I like stuff that's almost instant. So as you can see, stamina's going up through my block. You can proc often, but just for the reason I'm testing it, I'm guessing it's choosing not to. Spider. And then stamina's flying up through block. But this might be a better chance to show off Bogdan's. See if we can get everything pulled in. Pull, 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 pull. There we go. There we go, Bogdan straight off cooldown. The more damage you're getting hit with, more chance it is to land. Bogdan's got 1 second left. Yeah, not that much hitting me now. There we go. But yeah, it's a really good build. I've always followed Alcast and Vana's builds when it comes to healing. I've only changed like a few skills. Like they recommend to use mutagen. Mutagen's only good in a few fights, especially in trials. Good for 4-man. Besides that, it's not really any good. And in a light, I just find myself never needing it. I could switch that out for an allied. One increase with magicka drastically. It put me on ultimate level if I was to use the same skills apart from an allied. The heals are a lot stronger, as you can see. There you go, nearly a 5k crit on healing springs. The other skill I was saying, spell symmetry, probably not the best to use. I'd only use it if you had really poor sustain. So say if you are draining your magicka, you really need some, sacrifice your health, get some magicka back, sacrifice. You know, it does turn out to be like an infinite sustain then. Yep. Not really recommended, it's just if you do have problems. Similar to symbiosis, I've not really found anybody to use it on. You can only use it on friendlies. So if I go to Deshan, and this will be my last test. Yeah, the difference between the perfect and the non-perfect of Olorim is just the extra 1k magicka. You know, it's not really that good. It should have added more duration on from a 30 to maybe like a 40 second to start with. Or maybe increased all the base stats. But it's really not worth putting yourself through veteran just to get the hard ones. Maybe the relic one, that'd be worth it, and the Sororia, but apart from that, you don't really need it. So, switch it on. Who can I heal with it? There we go. Right, so that's healing in for a 6k with an 11k crit. So let's buff up. So now it's hitting for 7.5k with 13k crit. You can get up to 16 on these, but as you can see with the sustain, you could practically sustain this forever. It would take you a long time for it to go down, but if you were to use it with a set like Worm or even Jorvolts, the healing would go down a little bit, but the sustain would be infinite. As you can see, the numbers are ticking back to the same numbers every time. 31.2 peak. I think it's ever so slightly draining, but that could be because I'm not in the channel focus. Yeah. So it's practically infinite. I think it's like a 0.01 drain or a 0.1 drain. It's just crazy considering the healing it gives. Drop that on. Get this on. Light attacks. Like heals for more. Not sure if they stack. But then again, the light attacks are a lot stronger. Yeah, it's stronger than a healing spring at 1,000 cost less, but it's on a single target heal rather than an AoE heal. If they change that to maybe like a 3-player cap or a 4-player cap, like this, saying that the springs is a 6, but if they change it to like a 3-player, they'd be a lot stronger. But I think that is it really. Yeah, I was gonna use these and show the difference you could use. Like if you wanted to use, say, three-piece willpower, you could still have a monster set, still have the Oloreem, and then use another ability altering. So like Asylum, when you use it, it does reduce the cost by a lot. Master Staff, it's just really good for if you need to give stamina back really quick, as the first tick gives you a chunk of stamina every time. But the way it's all been set out now, it's just different. Some of the guides will tell you to double bar the Oloreem, but there's no need. I'd rather get the extra damage from the lightning staff, the VMA staff. But if you can't do VMA, I would recommend getting the Oloreem lightning, or even a willpower. It would increase your magicka by an extra 1k on the back bar, with it being staffs applying for 2-piece now. So the willpower I'll do, I'm sure. Yeah, it's max magicka. But aside from that, I think that is everything to be said. Yeah, Bogdan Totem 6.8k. It's really good. Everything into magicka. Vampire's a choice. It's not something I've done yet, but I don't know if I want to. Atronak, seeing how much recovery you've got already, you could probably take that off. You could probably use Ritual. You could probably use Apprentice. You could use anything you want. But yeah, the final test I will show is I'm going to look at what the Ritual would offer. So let's pop it down here. So the Ritual. Thief, that could be another one. mage, that could be another one. Right, so the ritual. So the ritual start with Sanctuary would be really strong. But there you go, so that's an extra 13%, so that's 25% extra healing from the Sanctuary and the ritual. Stack that with your minor mending, stack it with power pots. There you go, 5.3k on those. Uh, 14k non-crits, so those non-mending as well. 15k. So it still gives you way beyond what you need as recovery. So roughly, I think it was 2200 mark. Anything around the 2800 plus is really good. The ritual would help out if you were using, it'd be a good balance if you were using worm and that, as I think you would still be around 3k. Or not. Yeah, 3k buffed, as well as having the extra healing, so it's like having Sanctuary on at the same time, having the ritual and worm. Oh, there you go, another 5k crits on there. The mage probably increased by about 2 or 3k. Yeah, there you go. So let's have a look here. So it's 4650 on crits. The only real benefit you would get would be the shield bonus from the mage, I think. Yeah, there you go, you get an extra 200 healing-ish off using this. So the ritual is stronger than the mage. But like the shields, nah, I can't really see how much shield without a health bar. But if you just take it from visual, where that is, as you can see, it is a slightly bigger shield. Yeah, there you go. Maybe only a few hundreds, maybe 500 tops. So yeah, I think, in my opinion, maybe the ritual would be much better to go with, as how we're used to the sustain of around 2800 anyway. So it's, you know, 3k, it's still pretty strong. And it'd be even more if you were to use Altma. You'd be well over the 3k with Altma. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, everything divines except the big pieces. Try starting all the big pieces. 1 spell damage, double recovery. If you're running Altma, double resource reduction. Charged shock enchant on the lightning staff, depending on how you go with that. And powered restoration staff. You could also use infused if you really wanted to. You could use decisive. There's quite a few traits you could use. Precise for the extra crit healing. I'm going to try the apprentice for the last part. So 4800. So there you go. The ritual's a clear winner in this ship. But obviously you do more damage with everything else, with it being spell damage rather than healing. So let's have a look. So 3k, you get 2600 spell damage. Ooh, 5k healing. That's with the Oloreem. Not the Oloreem. Yeah, that's with the Oloreem extra. So that's 5k with that. And Ball running backwards and forwards. Right. Pot. Drop. So 5,115. So yeah, it is a winner's ritual, but only by slightly. So if you wanted to use Apprentice, you could probably use Apprentice for everything, because like obviously your damage would go up on everything. And that is that.